Go.
Cognitive dissonance theory suggests that we have an inner drive to hold all of our attitudes and beliefs in harmony and avoid disharmony or dissonance. The theory of cognitive dissonance came from a man known as Leon. This man was very brilliant in his field and in his work, which was social psychology. Leon was described as an aggressive man in his early years and very brilliant as well. Leon's famous work came from when he was watching the news over the Indian earthquakes. The fact that puzzled him was that after the earthquake, the vast majority of rumors that were circulated predicted that an even worse earthquake was coming. After such a horrendous event, why would people want to provoke fear and anxiety? After Leon and his colleagues thought about it, they finally concluded that it was a coping mechanism that Indian people had developed to deal with present anxieties. Gazzaniga 2006. In other words, according to Leon, because this earthquake had filled the population with grief, they had formulated an even greater further tragedy, in comparison with which the present state of things did not look so bad. Early investigations of the theory, Leon carried out the experiment in Lake City, Minnesota, where a group of people that had come to believe the prophecy of Marion Kinch. Leon's goal was to show that how cognitive dissonance worked in the real world and also how it is something that happened in our daily lives. The day before Leon arrived to Lake City, the headlines on the newspaper read, "Prophecy from Planet Clarion called to city. Flee the flood. It will swamp us on December 21st. Outer space tells subordinate." The article then went on to read, "Lake City will be destroyed by a flood from Great Lakes just before dawn, December 21st, according to the suburban housewife Mrs. Marion Kinch of 847 West School Street. Says the prophecy is not her own. It is the purporter of many messages she has received by automatic writing," she says. The message, according to Mrs. Kinch, are sent to her by a superior being from a planet called Clarion. These beings have arrived from visiting Earth, she says, in what we call flying saucers. During their visit, she says they have observed fault lines in the Earth's crust that have forsaken the deluge. Mrs. Kinch reports that she was told the flood will spread from an island sea stretching from the Arctic Circle of Gulf of Mexico. At the same time, she says the cataclysm will submerge the West Coast from Seattle, Washington to Chile and South America. Quoted from Questingers and Richardson and Schuyler, 1964, page 30. Most people would not continue their research on such things as flying saucers and prophecies, but Leon was on a mission to prove something different than if flying saucers actually existed. He was on a mission to explain how cognitive dissonance works. The day that Leon arrived at Lake City, Marion Kinch had another prophecy which she had said. An extraterrestrial visitor was to appear at her house around midnight to escort her and her followers to a parked flying saucer and take them away from a flood, presumably to outer space. Leon's predictions, assuming that the monument to this event did not occur, was that the followers would attempt to reduce their dissonant state and having their beliefs disconfirmed by attempting to convince other people of those beliefs. Gazzaniga 2006. The clock struck 12, and there was no visitor of aliens' origins that visited Marion Kinch. An awkward period began among the believers. Waiting at Kinch's living room, but a few hours later she received another message which said, "For this day it is established that there is but one God of earth, and he is in our midst, and from his hand thou hast written these words. And mighty is the word of God, and by his word have ye been saved. For from mouth of death have ye been delivered, and at no time has there been such a force loosened upon earth. Not since the beginning of time upon his earth has there been such a force of good and light as now floods this room, and that which has been loosened within the room now floods the entire earth. As thy God has spoken through the two who sit within these walls, has he manifested that which he has given thee to do." Quoted from Festinger, 1964, page 169. After the message was received, there was a notable difference in the followers' attitudes. Marian Keats called the news press and confirmed she had gotten a new message from the aliens, which was not something she had done before. The other followers did the same thing as well by calling different sources of the medium. Leon predictions were justified when the message came through, and it changed the way we looked at social psychology in many ways. Thanks to Leon, we are now able to have a better understanding of who we are as individuals and why we perform the actions that we do when we feel a dissonance. We may not know what is happening to us when it occurs, but a little understanding of cognitive dissonance, we can take a better look at ourselves and see situations involving conflicts, attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors.